Get the hell out of the car, you black. It's going to be made clear that you don't belong in this world. Scum! The officer yelled as he shot the black woman in front of her daughter. Unaware of who he was messing with and the consequences that would follow, IT began that afternoon on a quiet suburban street. A tired gray sedan rolled under a blinking yellow light. Inside, a dark-skinned woman adjusted her crisp uniform, epaulets catching the sunlight. "Mom, why is that man looking at us like that?" her 10-year-old daughter whispered, glancing at a police cruiser sliding up behind them. Blue and red lights flared. The officer was young, pale, and smug. He approached with one hand on his holster. "Roll the window down. Now, is there a problem, officer?" she asked evenly. His eyes scanned her uniform. "Where'd you get that getup?" "It's mine. From work." "We'll see about that." Out of the car. Her daughter's voice cracked. "Mom, please don't. It's okay, sweetheart." She stepped out, hands steady, until he leaned close. "We don't tolerate people like you here." "People like me?" she repeated. "You know what I mean." When she tried to put distance between them, his voice barked sharp. "Stay by the car." "Are you deaf, you black bitch?" "I'm unarmed. My daughter's scared. Don't tell me how to do my job." He shoved her shoulder. "You have no right. I make the rules here." From the back seat, her daughter pressed her hands to the glass. "Look at me when I'm talking to you," he snarled, gripping her arm. "Let go now." "Or what?" His smirk was poisonous. The girl pounded the window, crying. The officer yanked her mother forward. "Take off that jacket. You have no cause." "My cause is I don't want you breathing my air." He slammed her against the hot hood, forearm digging into her back. "Here, you're nobody. Keep it up, and you'll leave in a body bag." "Mom," the girl screamed. "Shut that kid up before I do it for you," he hissed. When his hand roamed toward her pockets, she jerked back. "I don't have anything. I don't need proof to make you disappear." Then his gaze shifted to the girl. "Tell her that when I'm done with her slave of a mother, I'm coming for her." Her heart stopped. Thought vanished. She wrenched free, eyes blazing. "Say that again. You threatening me?" "Big mistake. You will not touch her," she said, stepping forward. "Stay where you are," he warned, drawing his pistol. "Mom, no," the girl sobbed. Across the street, an old woman appeared with her phone. "I'm recording. Let her go." Another neighbor ran up. The officer ignored them, finger tightening on the trigger. "Last chance." "Shoot," she challenged. The crack of the shot tore the air. She collapsed, blood spreading fast. "Mom," the girl cried, rushing to her. "You deserve that," he said coldly, holstering his weapon. Neighbors shouted, some calling for an ambulance. He climbed into his patrol car, red and blue lights flashing, and drove away. The girl pressed on the wound. "Don't leave me, please." Sirens wailed. Closer point, 2 paramedics burst out of the ambulance, loading her onto a stretcher. "You'll ride with her," one told the girl gently. The vehicle sped toward the hospital, until a black SUV skidded to block their path at a tall, graying man in a dark jacket jumped into the ambulance. "Change the route." "Sir, protocol." "There's no protocol. I'll take care of it." The girl stared, sensing he knew her mother. The ambulance U-turned, racing down unfamiliar streets. The man pulled out a satellite phone. "It's her. We have her." The paramedic glanced uneasily at the wound. "If we don't get her to an ER, she's not going to hospital," the man said flatly. "Then where?" the girl asked, her voice trembling. His eyes met hers. "Somewhere the law can't touch her." Minutes later, they swerved off the main road, disappearing into a wooded path. The siren had been cut. Only the rumble of the engine remained. Through the trees, the girl saw a building, low, windowless, and guarded. 2 figures stepped forward as the doors burst open. The man waved them in. "Get her inside. We don't have much time." The girl clung to her mother's arm. "Who are you? What is this place?" "You'll understand soon," he said, his tone unreadable. "But once you enter, there's no going back." The stretcher rolled toward a heavy steel door. Just before it opened, the woman's eyes flickered half open. She whispered something too faint for the girl to catch. The man leaned closer, listening, then froze. His jaw tightened. "We've got a problem," he muttered to the guards. The steel door groaned open, revealing nothing but darkness inside. The siren screamed through the night, but the ambulance was not heading toward the nearest hospital. The girl sat rigid, staring out the back window as familiar streets vanished one by one. Her voice was unsteady when she finally spoke. "Where are you taking her?" The man in the dark jacket, seated across from the stretcher, held her gaze for a moment before replying. "Somewhere she'll receive better care than the local ER can provide." One of the paramedics glanced at his partner, then back at the man. "We can't just bypass St. Mary's without authorization." "You have it now," the man interrupted sharply. He pulled a folder from inside his jacket, revealing a document with an official seal and signature. "From this moment forward, she is under my responsibility." Silence followed, broken only by the uneven beep of the heart monitor and the relentless wail of the siren. The girl clung to her mother's hand, afraid to let go. When the ambulance arrived, it was clear this was no ordinary hospital. A guarded entrance stood ahead, floodlights illuminating the compound. Automatic doors slid open to reveal a waiting team in white coats. No waiting rooms, no crowded hallways, just precision. West Operating Room, number 3, a female doctor ordered immediately. Her attention never wavered from the injured woman as the stretcher rolled past. As the medics moved inside, a tall man in a suit approached the one in the dark jacket, phone pressed to his ear. "Has Washington been informed?" "Yes," the man replied. "Tell them to prepare everything. And I want photographs of the entire scene before sunrise." In a small observation room, the girl sat curled in a chair, knees to her chest, eyes swollen from crying. She stared at the door her mother had disappeared through, willing it to open. The man in the suit opened a thick folder, speaking in a low voice. "Shooter is Officer Daniel Crowder, age 32. 3 prior complaints, abuse of authority, racial misconduct, all dismissed without investigation." The man in the dark jacket's jaw tightened. "This time he doesn't walk. Put every team on him. If he moves across a county line, I want to know before he does." "The press is already sniffing around," the suit warned. "If they learn she's a lieutenant colonel." The door swung open. A nurse stepped in, a faint note of relief in her expression. "She's conscious. She's asking for her daughter." The girl shot to her feet and nearly tripped as she ran after the nurse. Inside, her mother lay pale but awake, a heavy bandage wrapped around her side, and force snaking into her arm. Her tired eyes softened when they met her daughter's. "Come here," she whispered. The girl wrapped her small fingers around her mother's hand. The woman's eyes closed briefly, as though anchoring herself to that touch. In that room, the chaos outside no longer existed. Only a mother and her child. Night had fallen fully now, and rain slicked the windshields of patrol cars crisscrossing the city. Radios crackled with one repeated command. "Target located. Patrol 27. Maintain visual. Do not engage until tactical arrives." Back in the hospital room, the woman sat upright despite the pain, absently stroking her daughter's hair. The man in the dark jacket entered without knocking. His voice was steady but carried weight. "We got him." She didn't ask how. She simply squeezed her daughter's hand a little tighter. Miles away, on the outskirts of a rundown roadside motel, police vehicles blocked every exit. Tactical lights blazed through the rain, casting long, sharp shadows. Daniel Crowder stepped out slowly, hands raised high. His uniform was wrinkled, his service pistol still holstered. His face bore no fear, only an unreadable calm. On the ground, a tactical officer shouted over the downpour. Crowder obeyed, lowering himself to his knees before lying flat on the wet pavement. In seconds, agents were on him, wrenching his arms behind his back. Handcuffs clicked into place. An officer's boot pressed lightly between his shoulder blades as his rights were read. Though the rain and sirens swallowed most of the words, one of the arresting officers shook his head, muttering, "You just buried yourself, Crowder." Hours later, in the hospital room, the television flickered with live footage of the arrest. Crowder's soaked figure was shown being shoved into the back of a patrol car. The girl watched for only a moment before pressing her face against her mother's arm. "It's over," she whispered, her voice trembling. He'll never touch us again. The man in the dark jacket stood near the doorway, phone in hand. After a short call, he stepped forward. His tone was low but firm. Washington is monitoring every detail. This case will not disappear into some forgotten file. The woman met his gaze, her voice steady despite the fatigue. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing it for her. The girl looked up and gave the faintest smile, fragile but real. In that small moment, despite the rain, the pain, and the shadows still lurking beyond the door, there was the smallest breath of relief.